Okay, so we got to talk about the Myles Garrett being traded to the Eagles rumors and what it will cost us. Also, how it's low key tied to AJ Brown. However, if we can't pull it off, two pass rushers became even more available after last night's game, and somehow Kelee Ringo could be involved with the trade. So much to break down, including the Week 9 power rankings. Philly is where? Plus, Jordan Mailata punks a reporter, and Smitty talks about the play where he made a Giants DB fall. And man, oh man, does Smitty crack me up. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and it's the Philly Talk Podcast. If you rock with the Eagles, do your boy a favor and hit that like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the videos. So, with the Dolphins losing to the Ravens in the way they did, they are now 2-7 and just fired their GM. Adam Schefter tweeted a little bit ago, Dolphins will go into Tuesday's trade deadline with an interim GM, Champ Kelly, making key decisions. Among their trade candidates, Jalene Phillips, Bradley Chubb, and Matthew Judon. Now, out of them three, I'm really looking at two people. Bradley Chubb, number one. I believe he's the older guy, but he's the win now move. He has 4 sacks on the season. He's just coming off a game versus the Ravens where he had 9 pressures. So there's a lot to like about adding him to the Philadelphia Eagles. Plus, him and Vic Fangio are really familiar. The other option who's on the Dolphins as well is Jalene Phillip. He's coming off a 6 pressure game versus the Ravens. And on the season, he has 3 sacks. He's the younger option, 26 years old, so he could even grow into a bigger role for the Eagles. Ultimately, Howie Roseman needs to take a good look at both these guys. And with an interim GM, Howie might be able to fleece him. Anthony DeBona had an interesting random note. Dolphins interim GM Champ Kelly was the Raiders' assistant GM when the team hosted cornerback Kelee Ringo on a top 30 visit. Shoot, we might not even need to give up that much capital. Howie Roseman call him up and be like, we'll give you a late pick and Kelee Ringo. He could use a fresh start for one of Jalene Phillip, 26, or Bradley Chubb, little older. I think I'd rather pick Bradley Chubb. However, that's the route we should go if Howie Roseman strikes out on Myles Garrett. A lot of crazy rumors came out after the video I did yesterday, and I was driving on the highway all day, but I gathered it all up, and I'm here to tell you there's some hard evidence as it pertains to Myles Garrett to the Eagles. Now, granted, this was exactly what was said. Rumor going around, and I have not heard it out of the Eagles, but I've heard it from a couple of super high ranking people in other teams that are clearly on the phones that Howie Roseman and the Eagles are super hot after Myles Garrett, that Howie would give up like 3 first-round picks for him. Now, that exact quote came from a Cleveland Browns beat reporter to 102.5 The Game in Cleveland. And then another radio station in Cleveland reacted to it, and that's the viral clip going around Twitter.
Even 3 late number 1 picks, given the dearth of talent and the amount of needs that the Browns have. If I was Andrew, and I don't look, I'm no capologist, and I know this is a cap mess, and I know that there's a no trade clause involved, but if someone called me with 3 number 1 draft picks, after what happened this past Sunday, where a guy has the greatest game I've ever seen a defensive end play, sacked the quarterback 5 times, and you still lose by 3 scores.
You're making that trade.
It's something I'd have to consider.
So if you are the owner, would you even want to be making that trade because of where we're at?
Well, this is a trade. This is a trade that the owners got to negotiate.
Now, before we continue, and there's a lot more, and there's a reason why I said in the beginning it's low-key tied to A.J. Brown, but answer this question for me in the comment section. Straight up right now, if you were the Eagles GM and they said 3 first-round picks for Myles Garrett, would you do it? Yes or no? Also, explain why yes or no. A lot more to talk about. When you think about 3 first-round picks from a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, who will be competing for a Super Bowl during them years, which means them picks are most likely going to be in the late 20s and could even be in the 30s. With that being said, when you think of late first-round picks, you're like, Heck with it. We need Myles Garrett. This guy will be a game changer on the Eagles D line next to Jalen Carter in that interior pressure. I mean, he had 5 sacks for the Browns and they got blown out. Do you know what the Eagles will do with a 5-sack game for Myles Garrett? We will blow the doors off the team we are playing. So again, them 3 first-round picks, because they're going to be later first-round picks, people act like they don't matter. But what if I put names on them 3 first-round picks? Let's go over the Eagles' last 3 years. That's Nolan Smith, Quinyon Mitchell, and Jahad Campbell. Now, granted, Howie Roseman crushed the last 3 years with late first-round picks. Like I said, Quinyon in the 20s, Jahad Campbell and Nolan Smith in the 30s. That don't mean it's going to happen again. But don't forget about Howie Roseman in the second round, too. Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Cooper DeJean, even QB1 Jalen Hurts. The Eagles have been able to draft good really all across the board the last couple seasons. But again, that's the extremes when you think of late round picks. They could be or they could be what the Eagles got the last 3 years. Now, you may be thinking, Philly Mike, slow down. I thought you said A.J. Brown was tied to it. I'll get to that in a little bit. But also, Myles Garrett got a no-trade clause, and the Browns said they weren't trading him. Well, a lot of teams say they're not trading someone until they do, especially when they're losing like the Browns are losing. If a team is winning and talking about not trading a player, that's different. But losing changes a lot. Even for Myles Garrett, he chose money over contending for a title. But many times he mentioned Philly would be a legit destination to go to. Plus, he already got the money. And if Philly's ready to take on that money and trade for him, then what's stopping them? Now, the next thing you might be thinking is, how the heck can we afford Myles Garrett's salary when we got young guys to pay this, that, and the third? I don't know. But Howie Roseman does, simply because when Micah Parsons was on the trade block, the Eagles literally picked up the phone and called the Cowboys. Now, they said, heck no, y'all Super Bowl champions. We don't want to make y'all better, and gave them to the Green Bay Packers. And some people might say that report was fake. We didn't really try to trade for Micah Parsons. It didn't come from a beat writer or a blogger. It came from Adam Schefter. He literally said that the Eagles really were trying to make the trade for Micah Parsons. So whatever Howie Roseman had cooked up with crossing the T's and dotting the I's for the payday, which Micah Parsons makes more than Myles Garrett, well, he got it still. He has to have it still. If he was going to do it then, why can't he do it now? The only difference that I know some of y'all are going to talk about is Myles Garrett is 29 and Micah Parsons is in his mid-20s. The difference, though, Micah Parsons, choker, Myles Garrett, like I said, is probably the best defensive player in the league. Shorter years to play, but the window, the Super Bowl window is open. Flip that thing all the way up. As for how this is low-key tied to A.J. Brown, I'm not talking trading A.J. Brown for Myles Garrett. I don't think the Eagles are going to trade him, and I don't want to trade him. On that note, the same way the Eagles have been linked to Myles Garrett for a couple years, the Patriots have been linked to trading for A.J. Brown, and it continued just as recent as yesterday when Matt C., don't know how to say his last name, tweeted, according to sources, the Patriots recently made an offer of a second-round pick exchange for wide receiver A.J. Brown. However, the Eagles declined the offer. First off, if the Eagles picked up and you said A.J. Brown, we were definitely hanging up. But even if we stayed on the line, you say a second-round pick, and we slamming that on you. Again, I don't believe it. But the tweet definitely got around as it had 1.4 million views, a lot of comments, a lot of quote tweets and retweets, and 2.7K likes. Maybe he just wanted his viral moment, even though he only has 7K followers. He talks about the Patriots, but I mean, he don't know what's going on. And all this Eagles all in for Myles Garrett rumor stuff is a little bit more high profile than the A.J. Brown stuff. But ultimately, it's the same thing. Eagles say they're not trading A.J. Browns say they're not trading Myles Garrett. I think they would shift before we shift. At the end of the day, Howie Roseman did have a plan put together to get Micah Parsons. This is why I still believe it's in the realm of possibilities. I believe Howie's calling Cleveland. And if this don't get done, I don't think it's because Howie didn't offer something. I just think that Cleveland is being stubborn and keeping their 5-sack guy to lose by 3 scores. Another reason I see people are saying the Browns won't do it is because of all the dead cap they'll have. Well, the Broncos released Russell Wilson and $80 million dead cap. Still went to the playoffs. Now they're looking like a playoff team, and we're able to rebuild simply because how they structured a dead cap to come off. And they know that the salary cap is going to skyrocket, and it's not like the Browns are going to be competing next year. By the time they will be ready to compete, they will have the dead cap off their books. They will have a bunch of first-round picks, and they'll do whatever they want to do. I'm just saying, that is my final take on the whole Myles Garrett thing. A lot of y'all hit me up yesterday about it, so I need to get that off my chest. Switching gears to Fox NFL, writer Ralph V. Week 9 power rankings. He got the Eagles at 6. He got the Bucks, Colts, Packers, Rams, and Lions all in front of us. 2 of them we play the next 2 weeks, Packers and Lions. I can't wait to see what Ralph thinks in a couple more weeks. But still, 6 right now is too low. Lastly, remember I talked about the route that Devontae Smith made the Giants guy fall and was wide open, but Jalen Hurts threw it to Jahan Dotson, and it wasn't his fault. Smitty did not make his guy fall before Jalen Hurts was letting the ball go, and he scored anyway, so it don't matter. But listen to Smitty talk about Jahan's catch and the fact that he laid down the Giants guy.
He got up quick. Oh my God. He failed. Covered. He done threw that. I'm still looking up. Where that at? I know that coming over here. All I see hard over that. I'm looking up at that. I'm like, what the going on? I'm talking about sat him down. Let's go. Oh my God.
Smitty should have said he was looking for the ball once the guy fell, but he did give props to Jahan Dotson for getting that head, top, and catch. The Eagles, Philly strong in the chat. We haven't been doing it that often. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. I absolutely love hearing from you. And again, I think Howie will get an edge rusher. Are we going to swing for a home run with Myles Garrett or settle for one of the Miami guys? And there's still that Jets guy. Again, Tuesday's the trade deadline. Like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I'll catch y'all next time. We out.